Welcome all to SimbaviTravels. We would like to take you through our memory lane of a very cute trip that we took to Switzerland. And our first stop was Rhine Falls. This is where we hopped onto a boat, went right up to the falls, and felt the beautiful mist on our faces. So here's me introducing myself, Simran Sethi, my husband Avi, and my very, very beautiful 3-year-old shihtzu, Mr. Waffles. From Rhine Falls, we drove to the Lake of Zurich, most commonly called Zurich Lake. And we didn't do what most travelers do, which is hop onto a cruise on the Zurich Lake. Since it was a wintry evening, we decided to sit by the water, take in the beautiful surroundings, see the white swans, feed them, play with them, click lots of photos, and finally end our first evening having some very cold ice cream in this very cold weather. Introducing Movenpick. It's a chain of ice cream stores that I dearly love in Switzerland, and my favorite flavor is chocolate. After having that very yummy ice cream, we next went to the Lucerne downtown. And here you can see me dancing. Very short stop in Lucerne, and you can see the very picturesque, very colorful downtown right by the water, where we ate some dinner and made our way down to the Lauterbrunnen Valley. Now, before we actually got to the Lauterbrunnen Valley, I found a treasure and I had to make Avi just stop to see it. So you know that God has blessed you when He shows you these wonders. And what we stumbled upon was this huge lake with emerald green water, had a backdrop of these green hills, Swiss houses, and wow, the sound of those waves. You just had to sit, take it all in, before we decided to drive down to the Lauterbrunnen Valley. This is the Lauterbrunnen Valley. The beautiful Swiss houses, panelled with flowers on every floor, antique boutiques selling lots of trinkets and Swiss souvenirs. We were crossing the Lauterbrunnen Valley. Sitting in our car, swaying through the roads, taking in all the gorgeousness that the world had to offer. We were in our own bubble. The beautiful Switzerland. Oh, just look at it.
That was our room with the flower pot, Alpenhof, and I would just like to show you the scenery around. We were right in the middle of these high mountains, which right now are covered with clouds, and then there are waterfalls all around, and it was just the most mesmerizing view. And just look at it. That is the entrance to the Alpenhof B&B. How pretty. And right behind there, where the clouds are actually ice-capped mountains. and obviously they're covered right now with clouds. I would have loved to show them to you, but they're just gorgeous, this view. Okay, so that, my friends, was my B&B for last night, and right next to the B&B is this beautiful river. It's got this white salt-like water, because right there up there is the mountain flowing. It's beautiful, just beautiful. Oh my God, look at that. Just the sound of that is so nice. This, my friends, was the little bar diner that we sat at between all the scenery in the mountains for a quick dinner, a quick beer, and it was just gorgeous. Just look at these Swiss houses. They're nicely decorated. Just look at that house. So nice. And there is my bride and my husband, and he's gonna drive us to Jungfrau.
Okay, good morning everyone, and this is day 2. So, of course, we spent the beautiful night at the bread and breakfast, and we are now driving out of there back through the Lauterbrunnen Valley, which of course is just beautiful. And our first stop for today is going to be Grindelwald. Grindelwald is where we are going to take the Eiger Express. And we're going to go up to Jungfrau, which is top of the world. It's considered top of Europe. But before we do then, I just want you to be able to take all of this beautiful landscape that surrounded us. The beautiful roads that we drove through. And of course, we made lots of stops. And the first such stop was this beautiful farmland with the Swiss, yes, the very famous Swiss cows. And of course, my love for flowers in these beautiful houses. I kept getting Avi to stop the car on every corner, every bend, just to enjoy just these beautiful flowers and how they were spread across these balconies. And look at those views, those villages. I mean, there are people who live up there. I mean, this is home for them. Isn't it just unbelievable? Living in all of that bright green around you with these fairy tale houses and all of those beautiful trees and all these small little lanes, and it's just magical. So finally we reached Grindelwald, and that's where we took the Eiger Express. And hi Avi, hi Waffle. And we went up through the Eiger Express, and you will see, of course, dogs are allowed. And the best was, you can take hop on to one of these little carts, and you can have passengers along with you, or try to choose one which doesn't have people with you. You can see beautiful views of the valley. I mean, just look at those views. It's gorgeous, and it takes you so high up. And the best is when you're leaving, it's all green, and then when you reach there, it's absolutely white. Hi, Avi. Hi, Waffle. You're on top of Jungfrau. Oh, and those are the clouds. And that, my friends, is the top of Europe, Jungfrau. And that is me. Once you're up there, just take your time, take in all the beauty, just the white of it all. It's expansive, it's huge, it's mesmerizing. enjoy it. I mean, there was me and Avi and Waffle, and it was really cold, of course. So you got to be all layered up, and then you have so many different things up there. So they actually have like this ice wonderland, right, that you can go through and see all of these ice formations, and then you can walk up to different areas, and finally, after you're done with all of that, you can take your trip back down and see all of those views one more time. So, having been up in the severe cold in Jungfrau, it was time that we came down to civilization. And of course, our next stop was Interlaken. This is where we had yummy Indian food, and we strolled all the streets and saw the water. And I showed Avi the very many beautiful sights of Interlaken, and sat by and just took it all in. Next was our stop at Spies, a town literally neighboring Interlaken. Just on your right of Interlaken, there's Spies, where you can see all the boats. It's a little harbor, a beautiful lake. You can take small cruises from here. You can sit and have some ice cream, and you can just look at this village and its expanse and just take it all in. From Spies, we headed to our second stop for the night. This is where we were going to sleep, and it was in a small village called Graken. But before then, we saw this little tiny old aunt who was, I think, a little angry with her cows on the way. But she was lovely, and so was her family of cows, and it was just wonderful seeing how the world stopped for this wildlife to actually cross us. And it was wonderful to see them. It was wonderful to see how their family took care of them. Bye. And then look at all those bikers biking down the road. So to reach Graken, we were actually introduced to something that me and Avi had never seen before. To get to Graken, you actually have to take your car onto a train, and then the train transports you to the other side. Yes, you heard me right. We've taken cars on boats before, but this was the first time Avi and I were taking our car on the train. So we would park on this train, and then the train would take us to the other end of the mountain through a beautiful tunnel. And that's how we would reach destination 2, Graken, which is where we were to spend our second night of this beautiful trip to Switzerland. Okay, so night 2 we spend in a village of Graken. And since I've been to Switzerland so many times, this time, of course, I chose to stay in villages versus staying in the big cities like Lucerne and Interlaken and Zurich. And so you'd see we stayed in another bed and breakfast, and this was hosted by a brother and a sister called Ches and Benny. It was beautiful. We had some yummy hot breakfast, and we walked around this village. It had tons of cute houses and the backdrop of these clouds and mountains, and that's me and Avi in the balcony clicking lots of photos, just breathing in the fresh air and the colors of the flowers. And I was just it was just dreamland. Look at me posing with all the flowers and the gardens and taking ideas of how to make your front lawns and back lawns. And so beautiful, just so beautiful. I think this is the one trip that I use the word beautiful at a gazillion times. And that is my baby Waffle, cuddled up in the quilt while we roamed the center of Graken, sat by, sipped on some hot coffee, had some yum croissants, walked in this beautiful little village before we head to our next destination.